Hello there, welcome to another video here on this Esoteric Circle YouTube channel. My name's Pete Haskins. That right there is Wanda. We're down here, the magnificent place that we have church every morning now, the Menominee River here in Menominee Falls, Wisconsin. So wherever you're at on your journey, welcome this morning. It's great having you with us. Oh, it's awesome having you here with us both down here at the river. Going to be talking about daydreaming and imagination, and this is a big one for me. And let me read this passage from In Search of the Miraculous and see if this rings a bell. Ouspensky writes that Gurdjieff said, "Imagination is one of the principal sources of the wrong work of centers. Each center has its own form of imagination and daydreaming. But as a rule, both the moving and emotional centers make use of the thinking center, which very readily places itself at their disposal for this purpose, because daydreaming corresponds to its own inclinations. Daydreaming is absolutely the opposite of useful mental activity. Useful, in this case, means activity directed towards a definite aim and undertaken for the sake of obtaining a definite result. The motive for daydreaming always lies in the emotional or in the moving center. The actual process is carried on by the thinking center. The inclination to daydream is due partly to the laziness of the thinking center. That is, its attempts to avoid the efforts connected with work directed towards a definite aim and going in a definite direction, and partly to the tendency of the emotional and moving centers to repeat to themselves, to keep alive, or to recreate experiences, both pleasant and unpleasant, that have been previously lived through or imagined. Daydreaming of disagreeable, morbid things is very characteristic of the unbalanced state of the human machine. After all, one can understand daydreaming of a pleasant kind and find logical justification for it. Daydreaming of an unpleasant character is an utter absurdity. And yet many people spend 9 out of 10 of their lives in just such painful daydreams about misfortunes which may overtake them or their family, about illnesses they may contract or sufferings they will have to endure. Imagination and daydreaming are instances of the wrong work of the thinking center. Observation of the activity of imagination and daydreaming forms a very important part of self-study." Wow. Daydreaming. It is a huge problem in my own spiritual journey. It is something which I noticed early on that I was just wasting time. And you know, that's how I met Charles Ashton. I was daydreaming in his early church history class, and he caught me, and he came back and he said, "Stop daydreaming. You're wasting your time." And no one had ever said that to me. I mean, it was amazing experience for me. So this issue of daydreaming, what Gurdjieff and Ouspensky are talking about, Moravia, all these guys are talking about this. Wasting time, daydreaming. Plus, if you're daydreaming about morbid things, daydreaming about conflicts that you want to replay, that's what happens to me. I replay conflicts that I didn't deal with at the time and say, what would I have done, or what will I do if I see them again at the store, or just replaying stuff over and over and over again. Sometimes from years ago, I'm replaying things. If I saw this person, I will say this to them. You know, just replaying morbid things and allowing this. And what is happening is you've got the psychic energy of other people flowing through you. Psychic energy, negative psychic energy from other places. flowing through you and using your mind, your intellectual center, to play these, gathering up the energy on its own, and you're depleting your energy. You're allowing almost other beings to some extent from another source to use your mind, right? It's not yours. Then this is what he's talking about with the mechanicalness of our existence. You're just being played. You're just being used by something or someone else, all right? You have to get control of this. If you're going to make progress in your spiritual life, you have to get control of this daydreaming. So, how do you prevent these morbid thoughts from entering your mind and you replaying them and you being used by other energies, other sources, other beings? I use the Jesus prayer and I train my mind when I'm doing it. And this is hard. But when you are beginning to notice you're daydreaming, oh, I'm daydreaming, whether you're driving, whether you're in a meeting, whether you're at church listening to a boring sermon, right? Whether you're daydreaming right now as you're listening to this, you've already gone on to something else. Notice it. Notice it. Self-observation is so important with this. You have to notice it. And when you do, stop it. Lord Jesus Christ, Son of God, have mercy on me, a sinner, is what I use. You block it with that. And you move on. And when it happens again, you block it. And I have noticed that whenever I do block it, in about a minute, I'm thinking about it again in a different way, even in more of a morbid way. And it comes back stronger. Christ talks about this, right? When the one evil spirit comes, 7 more enter. You have to fight this, and you have to work at this. This path that we're on is a journey, and it's a struggle. And this daydreaming is a huge part of it, and you're wasting your time. Begin to notice it. Use a method in your own life in terms of how you're going to catch yourself, and get out of that, and do it over and over and over. This repeated catching yourself, and you do it. And every time you catch yourself, you gain fine energies. And it's an amazing accomplishment, amazing gift of grace when you do catch yourself doing this. It's a big deal. When you start catching yourself, that means you're making progress. Blessings to you on your journey, and just keep up the awesome work in terms of working on yourself on a minute-by-minute standpoint. You're making progress, and keep it up. It's great having you here with us on a Sunday morning, and gonna shoot a little video here of the river and just relax down here. Go back home, make some chocolate chip pancakes or something. All right, blessings to you. I'll see you soon.